Okay, so I'm having a night away from the kids. Also,
That is the X.
Hello, everyone. We'll just give it a minute or so and then we'll get started.
Yeah, not talk to him.
You okay, Fogger?
Yeah, there you go. Get dressed. Okay.
Stephen?
Hi.
All right. Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all here today. I know this is a really difficult time to have a parent information session because dinner and everything's all happening. So look, we won't keep you very long. The way it's kind of going to work tonight is we are going to share our screen with you and you'll see a slideshow. And then at the very end, if we have any questions or anything like that, probably the best way to get to us would actually be to send it via Seesaw. Then what we'll do is we'll take all of the questions that you guys have, answer them, and then send them back out to everybody, because then that way, if we have people wondering about multiple things, you'll get them. Okay.
We'll also put a copy of the slideshow. We'll send one out to you so that you can go through, because we won't read everything that's on them. There's like a letter from the council and those kinds of things that you might want to look at further.
All right. And can we just ask before we start, please have your mic off, so that way our voices are the only one coming through. Otherwise, it just might make it a little bit confusing. All right, so let's get this show on the road. I'm going to share my screen. I really hope this works and I'm not embarrassed by my lack of technological skills.
Please.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Okay. All right, I believe we are up and running. All right, so we're just going to start with a welcome video from Philippa Brearley, our wonderful principal.
Unable to.
Whoop, sorry.
Hello, everyone. A big welcome to all in our community. Welcome to Holy Trinity for the 2022 school year. It's an absolute privilege to be principal of this school, and I particularly welcome all our new staff and all our new families to Holy Trinity. I'm going to begin today with some general information about our school that's really, really important for all our families to know. And then we're going to finish with individual information sessions for each of our grade groups. I'm going to begin today with an acknowledgement of country. I'm going to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people, traditional custodians of the land where we are situated today. I'd like to acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and contribution they make to the life of Canberra and to our region. I also acknowledge all other First Nations people on whose land we gather. And now I'm going to begin with a Bible passage for our prayer, and this is a Bible passage that relates to our school theme for 2022. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Matthew's Gospel 5 verses 1 to 17. let your light shine. You are the light of the world. A city built upon a mountain cannot be hidden, nor would someone light a lamp and then put it under a basket. Rather, it is placed upon a lampstand so that it may afford light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine so that it can be seen by others. This will enable them to observe your good works and give praise to your Father in heaven. This is the gospel of the Lord. Holy Trinity, hear our prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I chose Matthew's Gospels today because that, as I said, is the emphasis for our school theme for 2022, Let Your Light Shine. Last week in our Professional Learning Week, our staff spent some time together unpacking this theme, praying together and reflecting on how we're going to really spend this year ensuring that our light shines and looking at ways that we can continue to enhance our community, continue to build on the beautiful values we have here, of course, Jesus' values and our IB philosophical values, and of course continue to be the best we can be to all in our community. This year, our annual improvement plan continues to focus on our 3 strategic goals that are in our school improvement plan for the last 3 years. This is our last year of our strategic plan. So our first goal, which looks at improving students' outcomes through the effective evidence for learning, this year we're going to continue to look at our teachers as capable assessment practitioners. We're going to continue to embed in all of our numeracy lessons the daily review. We're going to continue to look at growth in our data and ensuring that all our students are given the best opportunity to achieve the best that they can. We're going to develop and implement a new report for Holy Trinity based on our primary years program framework, especially looking at our approaches to learning. And we're going to, of course, continue with authentic communication with parents, looking at semester conferences and many other modes of communication, which I'll talk to later on today. Our second goal looks at empowering students to be actively engaged in learning. Obviously, we're going to be doing this by showing high quality teachers across the school. We're going to begin a new initiative this year on social emotional learning, which your students will talk to you about in the session after this. And we're going to continue using inquiry pedagogy across the school, particularly with initiative in literacy in our writing inquiry. Our third strategic goal is to continue to increase student agency to foster lifelong learners. And we're going to do this by building capacity to activate agency in our classrooms. We've also engaged in Trevor McKenzie, who's been working extensively with us over the last 12 months, looking at how we can enhance student agency and teacher agency in our classroom and of course across our school. And we're also, another new initiative this year is to continue to develop our Year 6 leadership program, and there's going to be some new initiatives there. I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about how we want to continue to effectively communicate with our school. For us, developing relationships with all in our community is one of our #1 priorities. And the first way we're going to develop our partnership with parents is through our parent partnership meetings that will be happening in week 3. And you'll certainly be receiving correspondence about this on how you can make an appointment with your child's teacher to start this beautiful relationship going and to have this open discussion to begin our year. The second way that we like to communicate with our families is, of course, through email. Teachers, naturally, being in front of your children for the majority of the day, are unable to acknowledge emails during this time. However, we will certainly be able to acknowledge your emails within 24 hours of them being sent. Our preferred response to emails that may raise issues would be a phone call, and we would ensure that would happen within 24 hours.
What's going on?
Of course, when you want to make personal contact with us at school, the first person that you need to make contact with is the class teacher. They will know your child and they will follow up on things immediately. They'll include executive staff or myself, and they will certainly follow up on email messages and phone messages before or after school or in their preparation time. I really encourage you to not put off raising an issue or a concern. Most issues that happen at school are usually a lack of communication or a misunderstanding. So I want you to know that our doors are open, and we want to establish right from the beginning of the school year open communication with all in our community. There are other modes of communication that we have in our school. Our number one mode to electronically send out information is through Compass. Compass is our major portal, and for parents it's where you'll receive all updates, you'll receive your children's semesterly reports. It'll be where you'll be able to make contact in regards to roles. So if your child's absent, you go onto Compass to explain their absence, and there'll be lots of other ways we can communicate through Compass. So I encourage you to keep an eye out for Compass daily for any messages or updates. Our newsletter, which comes out every Thursday, is also distributed through Compass. We also have a website where we have put a lot of information for parents. Obviously, the website is a first port of call for families who are looking to enrol their child, but we also have a lot of information on our website for our current community. We do have a new tab on there, a COVID-19 tab, which also has a lot of good online resources for students that might be at home isolating currently. We also have a digital portfolio to celebrate learning and enhance communication between home and school called Seesaw. And I'm hoping that you all have got access to your child's Seesaw account, and if you don't, then please contact your child's teacher. As I said before, another formal way that we communicate to families is through our reporting schedule. So in term 1, this begins with parent partnership meetings in week 3. And that parent partnership meeting really involves parents giving teachers the opportunity to know about their child. We then have formal interviews and conferences in term 2, followed by a first semester report. In term 3, we look at learning journeys, where we invite our families in to come and have a look at where their child is learning and have a look at some of the work that they have been doing in class, to share their successes and to have a look at things that they would like to continue to develop throughout the year. In term 4, we also have our second semester reports, and we have interviews as requested. As well, of course, as our strategic goals for the year, we also have building and maintenance schedule. And as many of you will have noticed from coming into the car park where the portables are for Year 5 and Year 6 classes, they are currently there because we're in the middle of a major building works. We are currently renovating the top 3 classrooms in the annex. We're building a new classroom underneath that, and then in our stage 2 building works that should begin in the middle of this year, we're going to be building another classroom across. So at the end of stage 1 and 2 building works, hopefully by the end of this year, we should have 5 new classrooms over there, which will extend on from our 3-4 classroom area. This is really, really exciting for us, and to ensure that we continue enabling our students to be in learning environments that are of the highest quality in our, of course, Inquiry School. We also at our school have some great we have a great parent community, and they are led by 2 important groups. The first is our school board, of which we have a chair, Scott Pearsall, and we have about 12 members. Our school board supports me and advises myself and my leadership team on curriculum, building and maintenance, policies and budgets. We also have a Parent and Friends Association, and we're currently looking at some new members to take on some executive positions. We'll be having an annual general meeting for our Parents and Friends Association at the end of February, and I'll be giving you more information about that and what our P&F do throughout this month in our newsletter. I really, really encourage parents to continue to become involved in our community. I know some of our events are looking different this year until COVID restrictions subside, but I really, really encourage you to be able to volunteer for any of our P&F initiatives or certainly to come to our AGM at the end of February. I'm now going to invite Father John Woods, our parish priest, who is also the Vicar for Education, to talk to you about the wonderful relationship we have, obviously as a parish school, with the Parish of Transfiguration.
Hi, it's Father John, and I'm privileged to be the parish priest of the Transfiguration Parish, North Woden. And as you're aware, that parish includes our two great parish schools, Holy Trinity and St Peter and Paul at Garran. I'm speaking with you tonight, the folk of Holy Trinity School community, and I acknowledge that we gather on the land of the Ngunnawal people, and we gather in this year 2022 under the, I sound like Richie Benno, don't I? 2022. We on the land of the, and we gather with the theme this year, Let Your Light Shine. It's a beautiful theme and very much consistent with the parish theme of Transfiguration. Again, that notion of light coming fully alive in God. Our schools are to be places of wonder, joy and learning, and they are just that. I'm proud to be parish priest of our two great schools, and I've also got a role with the Catholic Education Office, and on a number of occasions in different circumstances I say what great communities we have in the Transfiguration Parish. Schools exist, Catholic schools exist, indeed all schools, but Catholic schools are very specific on it, that they exist to assist parents who are first teachers. You guys are the ones who form the hearts and minds of your children. The schools assist you. They can't replace you. And so it must be a team effort to the one end of helping your child to be the best child they can be. Wonder, joy and learning. And those aspects are experienced in all manner of ways, from the greeting at the front office to the way children and staff relate to each other and to engagement with the wider parish. You'll note that the school is built adjacent to the parish church, and that's not just coincidental. In fact, it was the pattern that saw the establishment of Catholic schools across Australia. And there's always been this close relationship. This school was in fact founded by religious sisters, as was the case for many schools in Canberra and across Australia, along with religious brothers. But those days have gone. It's now very much the folk, mums and dads like you, who staff our schools. And in a sense, because of that, they have an empathy and an understanding, because in many cases they're parents and they want the best for their children. That notion of children taps into too, of course, the notion that we are all God's children. And while the school fosters the development of children in joy, wonder and learning, ultimately we'd have it that an integrated education leads to a relationship with God. Now that relationship is experienced each and every day in the way we relate to one another. But it's all brought together, and if you like, the consciousness of it is raised when we gather literally in the church building, particularly on a Sunday. And I look forward to seeing you with your families on special school occasions, but also, and I really encourage you to consider regularly coming to Mass on a Sunday. You will be enriched, and you'll certainly enrich our our parish community. So the journey ahead of us is one that is, well, who knows where it'll lead this year. We all know the challenge of COVID, and I must say I'm impressed by the way our two schools have responded, and having the role of Vicar for Education, that's working on behalf of the Archbishop with the Education Office over behind the Cathedral in Manuka, the professionalism and desire to do the right thing. It's challenging because the circumstances continually change, but working together we'll find a way through, as we already are. But bringing it all together, could I just say thank you for choosing to send your beloved son or daughter to Holy Trinity. Thank you for the way you are seeking to help them to be the best person they can be. And please continue to work with and support the great staff in terms of the classroom and the office staff and support staff otherwise to ensure the best for your child. And I look forward to seeing you gathering with the wider faith community from time to time, special school occasions, sacramental programs, perhaps Sunday. The invitation is there. And if I can be of any assistance at any time, please make contact over at the parish office. I look forward to seeing you. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you so much, Father John. I'd now like to invite Scott Pearsall, our school board chair, to also welcome you and let you know a little bit about the school board.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this session. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Pearsall and I'm the current chair of the Holy Trinity School Board. It's a role that I've held for the past 3 or 4 years and a role that I've been privileged to be involved in. I'll say a little bit more about the board in a minute, but I'd just like to begin by acknowledging that I'm recording this session today from the traditional lands of the Ngunnawal people. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to any and all First Nations people listening to this recording. So welcome to Holy Trinity. It is a truly tremendous school. I've been lucky enough to spend the past 25 years working in the education sector at every level from ELC, primary school, high school, college, and I currently work in the tertiary sector. And I can tell you that from my humble point of view that you're joining a wonderful school community of committed professionals. The school has tremendous leadership. There's a very caring, compassionate and capable staff, and the children at the school are happy. Every morning my daughter Liliana in Year 5 and my son Connor in Year 2 race out of the car because they can't wait to get to school. They can't wait to connect with their peers. They can't wait to engage in the classroom. They can't wait to see their teachers. And that's a pretty good indictment of a really tremendous school. I should also mention there's a wonderful parent community. There's plenty of opportunities to be involved, albeit somewhat disrupted by COVID. So please keep an eye out for those opportunities. Please come and connect. Please say hello if we cross paths in the car park. You know, we are a tight-knit community, and as you'll come to realise, and it's a really wonderful community as a parent to be a part of. Just to give you a brief overview of the school board, the board is made up of members of the senior staff of not only the school but also the ELC. We're joined by Father John from the Holy Trinity Parish, and there's a number of parents as well on the school board. The purpose of the school board is an advisory one, and we seek to provide advice to the school leadership on a range of matters. Some of the matters that come up may be point in time and particular, but there's a range of matters that we regularly provide advice on, and they include things like enrolments, finances, school policies. We spend time looking at any results and surveys, and a range of other things that may come up from time to time. At the moment, we've been providing some advice with building construction, with the work that's been going on in the school as well. So it's a very important role and one that we all value to be a part of. As a member of the school board, we invite you to come and speak with us. We are your representatives. My email is on the school website. If you'd ever like to reach out and make a time to connect with me, I'd be very pleased to do so. So please don't hesitate to reach out and connect with us if there's anything that you'd like to speak with us about. We'd be delighted to connect. I should also probably just say a few words about those of you who may be interested in being on the school board. Positions do come up from time to time. For 2022, we are at full capacity, but we're always interested in new members of the board, and those roles will be advertised in the school newsletter when they do come up. So if that is something you'd like to be involved in, we would certainly welcome your interest and welcome you to the board. So please stay tuned on that front as well. But for now, that's probably about all. You've chosen a terrific school, not only for your children, but also for yourself. So welcome to Holy Trinity. Look forward to seeing you around the traps, and take care. Stay safe and well. All the best.
I'm now going to finish the beginning of this presentation. Once again, a big welcome to all our new families and to all of our families. You're now going to go across to your child's grade information session. At the beginning of that information session, you will be shown all our new staff and our current staff. It will be great to welcome them and introduce them to you. And then, of course, you'll be listening to teachers facilitate this session, which will give you all the information that you need to know at the beginning of this year about your child and the classroom in which they're in. Thank you, everybody, and once again, welcome, and I look forward to a wonderful 2022 here at Holy Trinity.
Great. Oh,
hello, everyone. A big welcome.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody.
Okay, so welcome to the Kinder portion of our session. We thank Phil and Father John and Scott for their information, and of course you can contact them if you have any other questions. And we're ready to start a wonderful year.
Okay, so the agenda for today is, look, we're not going to keep you for too long. We had the welcome, obviously, from Philippa. We're going to go through just a little bit of whole school information. Then we're going to dive straight into the really kinder-specific stuff, which I know you guys really want to know about, like our goals, how we do literacy and numeracy, how we communicate, and then just some general housekeeping.
All right, so this is us. We also have Katie with us as well. Katie Smith, who's the assistant principal, and she works really closely with us in kindergarten and does spend time in our classrooms with us.
She sort of rounds us out as our third team member. So you will see all three of us from time to time out in the playground. Also, too, if you happen to be out there at drop off and you see one of us and we don't happen to be your child's teacher, just grab us because we work so closely. We do know all the kids across the cohort, so just grab us.
All right, so here is our executive team, our leadership team. So you can see Katie's in the top left corner there. And we've got, our RACs, Brendan, who is very helpful across lots of different curriculum areas. And of course, Kushla, which a lot of you already know. And of course, Phil, who we've got. Here are our front office staff members. You've probably already spoken to Beulah. Right at the top in the middle there, but all of the other ladies are often in there helping out at different times throughout the week, and they often double into our classroom support team.
That's true.
Which is led by Jane and Meg. These are our specialist teachers. So our classes both have music and library on Tuesdays. So they have Kate Mertz and they have Jenny Groom for music. We also have Italian on Thursdays with Signora Rover. And there's Kate and Rachel, who we don't
tend to have them regularly, but they do pop in from time to time. So I'm sure your kids will talk about them. All right, so look, the school-wide initiatives this year as part of our strategic plan, we're really pushing social and emotional learning. A lot of work was done last year sort of preparing this, making sure that we don't just sort of dive into this without really understanding what we want to get out of it. So in kindergarten, the way this is going to look for us is really explicitly teaching a lot of those social skills, making sure that they can self-regulate, making sure they can manage themselves as well. This is not something that we just do in one term. We do it over the entire year. We revisit skills constantly to make sure that we really are building on it and making sure that once they leave kindergarten, they are ready to continue with their learning journey through the rest of the school years. As word inquiry is also one of our big school-wide initiatives. This is massive in kindergarten. Learning to read, it's so important to have strong foundations. If you have that strong foundation, you can build and you will just see where it takes them. So we do a lot of word inquiry here in kinder, looking at things like our phoneme fingers. You'll hear our kids come home and talk about. That's one of the ways that we teach sound and breaking apart words and getting to understand how they work in a function and then building them up. And seeing how we then use words in sentences, then looking at sentence to large texts and building up from there. We'll be able to give you more information about word inquiry when we actually talk to you guys one-on-one and let you know how your kids are doing later in the year when we have interviews.
All right, so we've got a new school counsellor this year. So we've got Kate. She's in 3 days a week. So if you ever think that there's a need for your child to see our school counsellor, we have the information for you to contact her. There's a referral form and she'll contact you regarding that.
So the school uniform, this is one of the biggest questions we get for kindergarten, because honestly, if you're new to the school uniform is a big thing. And we know that at the start of this year, there were a lot of supply issues. But I spoke to Beulah today in the front office, and something like 14 crates, big boxes of uniforms arrived today. So please check into your Quicker app in the next day or so once they've updated the stock, and you should be able to get most things. Look, we are not going to go through all of this. We will let you read through this. The main thing is that with the school uniform, especially in kindergarten, the girls need to have their hair tied back. If it does have a bow or a ribbon, it needs to be matching the school uniform as well. Nail polish, please have that removed for school time. On these sports days, obviously a lot of sports runners have laces and things like that. In the early years in kindergarten, if your child does not know how to lace up their shoe, you can send them in a Velcro. This is something that we, obviously by year one, we hope for them to have laces, but in kinder, it is really hard. So please don't be afraid of sending them in with that Velcro while they're still learning. As far as the school uniform goes, we have the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is our standard uniform, and Thursday, Friday is our sports uniform. Wednesday. I'm already failing. Wednesday and Friday are our sports uniforms. We'll continue to remind you of that for these first couple of weeks, but pretty soon the kids get it as second nature anyway, so it's not a big problem. And of course, jewelry, just watches and things like that are what's permitted. Everything else, please keep at home.
I think there's an extended version of the uniform policy on the website as well.
Yeah.
If you need more information.
And if you have any specific questions about your child, just let us know. We just said that.
So we have our canteen open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's a merchant's feast. They provide the food, and then we have fantastic volunteers that bag it all and get it out to classes. And you can do that all through the Quicker app. So you'd actually need to create a profile for all of your kids if you have multiple, and you purchase their lunch order through Quicker.
Our wonderful Year 6s deliver them to us, which
Yes,
is really
they do.
helpful. Good Year 6 leaders, they're amazing.
Yeah. So we've just got a few tips about our food situation. So we know that lots of people like to send in food for birthdays, so a little class celebration. So if your child has a birthday and they want to send something in, we do ask that it's not a large cake that we have to cut up, because you can imagine that's hard work for us. So cupcakes are great, and little lollies and things, that's fine. We do have a few children that are anaphylactic, so we ask for no nuts, eggs.
Oh, yep. So that's on this one. Yeah.
Nuts, eggs, dairy, sesame, which would definitely be avoided. We both currently have 26 kids. So if you are sending something in, that's the amount that you'll need to provide.
And one teacher. Love a good cupcake.
So we have fruit break generally at about 10 a.m. every morning while we listen to a story or do something in the classroom, and we ask that you don't send too much fruit break, because they get a little bit upset if they can't finish it. So it's just meant to be a small bit of fruit to get them through. So fruit, vegetables, and I allow cheese sticks.
Yeah.
In the classroom.
We sometimes go rogue, and if they don't have any fruit, we'll let them have a little bit of dairy in place. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, we try and avoid yogurts and things, as they can get quite messy in the classroom. And we're all about the waste-free where possible. So you'll notice that your kids, if they do have any wrappers and things, they just go home in their lunchbox to be disposed of at home. Yeah.
With the lunch boxes too, it is confusing what to pack separately. We basically have a communal tub where all the lunch boxes go in. What we recommend is just having one lunch box that has everything in it, with a fruit break that's either removable or just easily accessible. At the moment, we have a lot of kids that are actually coming in with 3 full-size lunch boxes for each of the breaks, and we just can't fit them physically into the tub. So if you can condense them, that would be absolutely amazing. They do eat 3 times a day. They have the 5-minute snack at fruit break. They eat lunch first, which is when we encourage them to eat their sandwich. And then they have the recess break or the afternoon tea where they can finish off whatever's left. Please pack enough food for your little one. We've had a lot who are just demolishing it at lunchtime and then not having anything for the recess break. So it's always best for them to come home with something rather than go a little bit hungry.
And those both those breaks include a specific eating time where they have to sit for 10 minutes to do their eating before.
Yeah, we're very mean. We make them sit and eat.
Yeah.
Okay, so the forms of communication, look, Phil already talked a lot about this. In kindergarten, Seesaw is our best friend. We will be sending most things through that. And that's also really the best way to get us. If you want to just send a quick note, like, for example, oh, they forgot their hat, or just letting you know their notes in their bag for you to grab, just shoot it through to that and we'll get it straight away.
All of our school-wide stuff will come from Compass, though.
Yeah.
So we have our awards that go out in weeks 5 and 10, unless the term is strange. So each award ceremony, there will be 2 academic-based awards and a Faith, Hope and Love award, which is, you know, sort of about the kindness and things that we see in the classroom. At this stage, unfortunately, we won't be able to have parents. That's right. And we do try and get lots of photos and things, though, to send home to parents, which I know it's not the same, but
sorry, we're doing our best.
Again. So if things change and we can have people into this school, we do ask that all volunteers have a Working with Vulnerable People card where possible. I mean, if you are coming in to volunteer and you don't have one, we do have what are they called, stat decks to fill out, but it's much easier if you have a Working with Vulnerable People card ready to go. But at this stage, we are not having so many volunteers in the school.
And you also too, if you are volunteering, you will need to sign in and out via the front office. Gone are the days where you can just pop into the classroom and do stuff. You will have to officially sign in and sign out as well. All right, so look, in Kinder, our big goals for your little one over the course of the year is to build agency. What this means is we want them to be little self-sustaining people who can manage themselves. They can listen to their body, they can recognize their needs, and they can access learning independently. That is our big goal. We want them to foster a love of learning. There is no point in coming to kindergarten and thinking, oh my goodness, this is the start of this whole school life and I'm not loving it. We want them to come here, love what they're doing, and have a desire to learn. We focus a lot on growth. It's not necessarily about your child getting to a certain grade. What we want is to see your little one growing. Growth for every child looks completely different. So we will be having that communication with you, a lot of conversations around growth and saying, look, they're tracking at this level, we're seeing this growth, or perhaps sometimes we're not seeing the growth and we'll let you know and give some tips about how we can help them get over that and continue. We want to develop their social and emotional skills. Coming to Kinder is a big change, and we really help them a lot. We don't just sort of send them out to the playground and say, see you later. We spend a lot of time in class saying, if you want to play, this is how you approach somebody. This is how you ask for help. This is what you do if you're upset, because that's what we need to do. We need to give them those skills. We can't just magically expect them to just go and fit into school life. And we also, of course, want them to feel a part of the school community. A lot of our little poppets this year, we have quite a lot who are starting kindergarten. They're the first in their family to start school, so the whole school is new to them. So we're trying to help them feel a part and feel their place in the world here.
All right, so literacy, one of the most important things that we do in kindergarten is really explicitly learn to read and write. So we spend a lot of time on those skills. And as Jenna said earlier, we do that in combined with our word inquiry. So we've already started writing. Both classes did a writing task today where they had to write about themselves. They wrote I am, their name, and drew a picture.
They did really well, by the way.
It was very exciting to see. So we want them to really engage in, you know, both the written and oral communication. So part of that will also be our topic talks that we will send home for homework, and hopefully have someone in the family be able to help prepare students for, in order to have them stand up in front of the class, which sounds a bit daunting, but they very quickly love to do it and share their ideas. We spend a lot of time doing fine motor development in lots of different things. So often we have, you know, lots of little pinchy things that they need to do, as well as a lot of writing and drawing and those things, so that it makes it a lot easier for them to form their letters and do so many things in life. We spend a lot of time looking at a lot of rich texts. We like to make it really real world for children, because, you know, that's the best environment for them to learn, especially in our IB school. We also, of course, have a really high importance on our numeracy. So we spend a lot of time looking at number in itself first, and then number operations. So once we, have a really good understanding of those numbers, particularly 1 to 20, we then start looking at, how do we add them together and those kinds of things. And again, we try and bring in that real world aspect wherever possible. Where do we see numbers in our life? Why would we need to use this? And that continues through their whole schooling life. These are definitely foundational skills that are so important, and without them, we're going to struggle through. Yes, but of course, IB, we try and teach things as where possible, not in isolation, as a, part of a bigger picture.
All right, so unit of inquiry. Now, coming to a PYP school, can I say you've made an awesome decision sending your kid to a PYP school? It's an absolutely wonderful way to learn. I'd say the number one misconception though about inquiry is that we still teach skills. We still dedicate time to make sure that children learn the nuts and bolts of everything they're learning. What we do though that sets us apart is we take everything that one step further. We make sure that these little ones are engaging with the world around them. They're not just seeing the world as ABC, they're seeing everything else. They're seeing the grey, they're seeing the whole thing, and how they fit into it. So what we do is we explore things through 6 central themes. We do transdisciplinary learning. You'd think after 10 years I'd know how to say that word properly, but we always get stuck up. The idea is that we don't just have we do reading, and then we do writing, and then we do maths. We actually teach all of these things together. So what we do is we'll have something, a big idea that we're looking into. So for example, we might be looking at the concept of identity. And while looking through identity, we will write about ourselves. We will talk about the members in our family and count them and do maths through that way. So we're actually all linking it all together to give it that deeper meaning. We also look at the whole learner. This is part of our learner profile and our approaches to learning. This is where we are building on the skills to make them those lifelong learners. And this is actually a process that happens the whole time they are here at Holy Trinity. We don't just do it in kinder. Every year we are building on these skills and taking it that little bit further. And we really just want them to build that love of learning and just enjoy being here, and then see where it takes them through the rest of their lives. In religion, of course, being a Catholic school, we do teach religion in our classes. We make sure that this is about learning the aspects of the Catholic faith. In kindergarten in particular, we really teach them a lot about what is church, what are religious symbols, what do they stand for, all of those sorts of things to help them just understand the why. Why are we doing this? Why do we believe this, and why is it important? We link a lot of our religious teachings to our social and emotional learning as well, and talking about the idea of faith, hope, and love being the center of everything we do. Of course, above all, love. Everything that we do is through love, and that is what should be guiding how we are interacting as learners and as a community.
All right, so we need your help. So continuing learning at home. So we've got some, things that we'd love for you to focus on if possible. So reading, having them read, having you read, reading to siblings, reading to dogs, any reading that you can do is so helpful. Practicing sight words. So when we send home readers in a few weeks, we'll also send home the gold sight words, which is the first set. And the more you can spend time going through those and having them know them without thinking about it. So no need for sounding out. They just need to know them from looking at them. And any authentic opportunities you have to write. So writing shopping lists, having them write letters to people, all of those kinds of things. Might be a little bit challenging at the moment, but trust us, in a few weeks, you'll be surprised what they can do. So we've already sort of touched on topic talks. So it'll be every child will have a specific day of the week that it's their turn to present to the class, and they'll quickly learn the routine of what happens with that. The first one will be very daunting, but after that, I think they'll really enjoy it. So those and the readers, which we'll send home in a few weeks as well. And if they can come back on the same day, they have their topic talk to be changed. And we try to, sort of move them through the levels of readers as quickly as we can, you know, trying to get them to sort of extend themselves where possible.
Yeah. You might be questioning why we say just bring back the readers once a week. That's because when you have a reader, it's really important to actually read it multiple times. Go through it, you read it to them, they read it to you, you co-read it, you look at the language, and so they really engage with that on a deeper level, and we find that progresses them through a lot faster if they can connect deeply with one text.
So we've got our parent partnership meetings coming up next week. So you hopefully have all received the link to that via Compass. I know that I have a lot of bookings already, which is really great.
Me too, well done.
And with that, there is the little form for you to fill out. So as much detail as you can on that is great. And if you can send it in with your kid even before is really great. Otherwise, you can email it back to us. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Lots of good questions. So
We can't wait to meet you.
don't worry too much about the before and after school care arrangements, as we have that
We've
pretty
already got
settled
that
now, hopefully.
Yeah.
But we're really looking forward to hearing your take on your
Yeah.
kids, and well, you're giving us lots of information.
You get a chance to
about
talk
them.
to us instead of us constantly
Yeah.
talking at you. Sorry about that. And finally, just some general housekeeping. Our primary communications Seesaw. If you need us urgently, though, just call the front office and Beulah will send a runner down to us and we'll be able to get in touch with you as soon as possible. Please really remember those food allergies. One big thing is actually promptness at the start of the day. Look, we both have kids. We completely understand that getting out of the house can be a real challenge, especially when the drop-up line is quite long. But being late to the start of the day, even if it's by 1 or 2 minutes, can actually cause a lot of anxiety in your little one because they come in and we're already settled. Most of the tears tend to happen to the kids that come in a little bit late. So if you can try to get them in here on time, that would be amazing. Of course, we totally understand, but that's just something to keep in mind. Please pack plenty of food. Remember, kindergarten looks really different for every child. And if you have any questions or concerns about how your particular little one is tracking, just let us know. We can let you know how they fit in the cohort and how we can support them to go through. Our term overviews get sent out through Compass each term, just outlining what we're going to be looking at so you have a bit of context to have those conversations at home. Because my son likes to come home and I say, what did you do today? And he goes, nothing. So that will give you a little bit of an understanding of say, oh, well, you're actually learning about yourself. What can you tell me? So hopefully that can help those conversations. Oh yes, and please just make sure everything is labelled. Can I say, as a parent cohort, you've probably been the best so far. We have so many labelled things. You're amazing. Just please label these things, especially if you have a spare set of like undies and things in their bag, which is amazing. Please send those in. Have those labelled as well because they do fall out and then we just don't know who to give them back to. So label everything. Make sure you've downloaded the Compass, the Quicker and the Seesaw apps. They are the way we use. We will contact with you, so please get them.
All right, thanks for coming. I hope we've answered lots of your questions, but if you have any other ones, please feel free to just send us a quick message on Seesaw and we'll do our best to get back to you.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking really fast. It's just our little counter at the end here is saying you've only got a few minutes, so you need to wrap it up. Look, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It was really lovely to talk to you digitally, and we will continue to try and see you as much as we can out there on the pencils and the ring road. But yeah, don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you, and your kids honestly have had a great start to the year. They are absolute champions. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, take care, guys.
See ya.
See you later.